Royal Hospital is a game theme that I can definitely get behind. And boy, some of the components in this game, some of the coins in this game are beautiful. This is an engine building game about healing people. Great. Let's take a look. Realize that there's a good chance I'm going to get a rule wrong because this is straight up one of the worst rule books I've ever read. In fact, here is setup for the game on page 10. You know, they tell you what all the things are. They start explaining things. And by the way, there's some pretty key critical rules that are hidden in some of these things that are mentioned nowhere else. And it's pretty big deal. So I'm not 100% sure I've gotten everything right. But the general gist is each person's going to have a hospital in front of them. And over the course of the game, you're going to get patients that come to your hospital. You're going to need to diagnose them. There are different resources in this game, and clipboards is the resource that you will diagnose patients with. So at the end of every round, you can diagnose a patient, you turn them over, then you're going to need to heal them, in which you need a heart resource, and then you will get some bonuses, which will often be you moving up on these tracks here. And I think you're also keeping track of how many patients you've healed over the course of the game. If you don't heal patients, they can get sick and go away, and your reputation will suffer. You'll be keeping track of your reputation on this track here. This is going to matter because the game revolves around a giant deck of cards. Think Race for the Galaxy or Terraforming Mars. And you'll be getting these cards at the beginning of the game. You get a certain amount of them. You can discard them. And then players are going to be getting resources every turn based on the tracks here. Getting science resources, getting clipboards, getting these doctors here, which are basically a wild clipboard or a heart, and getting hearts, and then getting money. And so you want to move up these tracks. And you have all sorts of cards that you can play. Some of them are instantaneous. Like I get 2 of these research things for each outpatient clinic you have in play, including this one. Or immediately get 3 of those doctors. Others are going to be ones that you can use once per round. And some are going to, a lot of them move you up on those tracks. Some move you up on these insurance company tracks where they all have bonuses next to them. A lot of them are money. Some things move the ambulance, and when you move the ambulance, you'll get all the bonuses here. So knowing to play these cards, the thing is when you play a card, cards have a cost in money. This one here costs 5 money, but many of them are quite pricey. For example, this one's 20 money, and it lets you move up immediately on 2 of those tracks there. This one here is 39 money. Some of them don't cost money. They might cost research instead. This one costs 2 of the research tokens. The cards are usually going to cost money or research tokens, and any card can be discarded for $3 or a research token for that. And so there's all sorts of cards. So that's really the game. You're going to take turns playing all these cards, moving up the tracks, and then you're going to have to diagnose and heal your patients or bad things happen. And then you go to the next round, and you will continue through the 7 rounds. In each round, you'll get more and more patients that you're going to have to diagnose, but you also get more of these cards that you can play, and hopefully your resources have gone up so you can play more. Most points on the outside is the winner. Whoa. All right. I'll start with my rating, 5 out of 10. And I want to say that initially because there's different things I want to talk about here. First of all, I do like the concept of this game. It's an engine building. It's trying to be games like, Terraforming Mars and other games where you have a card that moves you up on these tracks to produce more resources, move on our tracks. And if you know me, you know that this is a style of game I love. But there's a couple things that cause such a beatdown on my rating. First of all is that rulebook. That rulebook's just atrocious. There are these little orange pieces that you get when they're scattered all throughout the board. When you pass a certain piece on track, you get them. And I could not figure out what they were. They're the same as doctors, but they're orange. It's a throwaway line, I think in setup area, where it explains what they do. I was like, what? But this rule book, I searched through it dozens and dozens of times to find rules. So that's a big problem. This game, I'm still not sure I'm doing the patience correctly. The symbology is weird for things. There's those 2 tracks. The one track is like your reputation, and when you're high on that, it can move up on the points track. And it took me the longest time to figure out how you were supposed to be getting resources. And that's the other problem I have with this game. The second problem I have with this game is the luck factor. So there's 2 big factors of luck. One are the cards that you draw. You might get a handful of really expensive cards. Well, guess what? You are not having a good day. Because even if you discard a bunch of them to get 1 in play, getting a bunch of cheaper cards that get your tracks up a bit are going to give you those for the rest of the game. It's really good for you to have incremental movement up those tracks at the beginning because that lasts the whole game. So to that end, that I think can be solved by drafting, although that's not particularly the best way to solve the problem, especially for a first game. But man, that deck is so huge. There are so many different cards. You might say, oh, I'm going to get a lot of research and I can build the research cards and then never draw another research card. Drafting might solve that issue, but a bigger problem are the patience. You might get harder patience to heal than me, which could be good or bad. Because you get harder patience to heal, but hey, you got the resources. Then you get great rewards. And I get lesser patience. And so my reward is not nearly as good. Or you can't heal them, in which case your reputation takes a hit. And because this is an engine building game, unlike many other engine building games that are out there, this one definitely has the feel of if you fall behind, you ain't catching up. The rich get richer. Maybe it is a doctor-themed game. I applaud that this game was attempted. I think this game, in here, is a really good game. But those issues brought it down a lot for me. The bad rulebook and the preponderance of luck, and just also the symbology. It's just a hard game to play. But I think somewhere trapped in there is a pretty neat game because I like moving on tracks. I like the ambulancing. I love all that. But it's tricky. You're not sure what you're doing. It's a game that wants to be Terraforming Mars. Boy, does it ever want to be Terraforming Mars. A Terraforming Mars that you're healing patients. Well, it's not quite there or anywhere there, but it could be maybe in the future. So don't really love it.